Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Mary and I give you guys an extra warm welcome. I would love it if you grabbed a snack, stayed for a while, and click the subscribe button. I would love to have you. I am currently on the journey of hopefully reaching 1,000 subscribers before the end of 2021, and you can help me out by clicking the subscribe button. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate you guys more than you know. So as you know by the title of the video, we are going to be reviewing the new Natasha Denona Retro palette. I know I'm a little bit late to the game and there is probably so many reviews up already, but I purchased the palette. I want to play with it. I want to compare. I want to do swatches. I want to create 2 eye looks, and I want to give you guys my thoughts on what I think about this palette. So if you would like to see yet another person test out this palette and let you know whether it's worth the $65 or not, then just go ahead and keep on watching. Alright guys, before we get into some swatches and eye looks, let's go ahead and just talk real quick about the details for the palette. Here is the unicorn, and you can purchase this palette at Beautylish, NatashaDenona.com, or at Sephora. If you're wondering what's going on with my lips, I had a touch up on my lip fillers, so that is what's going on right there. Just FYI. This is what the palette looks like. I really do love the outside. I love mauve shades. Even though mauves are considered cool tones, I really do love mauve shades and I'm attracted to those colors a lot. In case you didn't know, she has designed her palettes to where you can actually pop out every individual shade in case you want to rearrange your palette. Here she is. Isn't she gorgeous? All the colors in here are absolutely beautiful. The only one that I kind of wish wasn't in here is this shade right here. There's not much you can do with that shade. I mean, some people think it's necessary to have like an off-white shade in a palette, but I honestly feel that that shade could have been maybe another shade, but that's just my personal preference. This palette has a 24-month shelf life and it was made in Italy. You have all kinds of formulas in this palette. You have the cream to powder, you have her creamy mattes, you have metallics, and then you have the special like sparkly shade. I forget what it's called. That's like the topper shade. So we have a lot of great shades to play around with today. So why don't we go ahead and get to swatching. All right guys, here are the first 7 shades swatched. This first one is Glitz, that's her duochrome formula. This one is Andy, and that is a cream to powder. This one is Jude, and that is a metallic. This one is Maud, and that's like that very light shade that I kind of feel like she could have gone without. It's a creamy matte. This one is Vivian, and that is the cream to powder. This one is Groove, which is a creamy matte, and this one is Opart, which is a cream to powder. So there they are. Super beautiful, super mauvey. They definitely pull like on the purple mauvey side, and I am not mad about that. Okay, and here are the last 8 swatches. The very top shade is Psychedelic, and that is that special glitter topper formula. I forget what she calls it, but right next to the name there is a K on the back of the unicorn. The one next to it is Go-Go, which is so buttery soft. Oh my goodness. This is her cream to powder formula. This shade is Patty. Even though it's labeled cream to powder on the unicorn in the back, I do feel like it's more of a metallic than a cream to powder. So I think that was a mistake. And I do remember when I watched Morgan Turner's review, she said the same thing. This one is Swing, and that is a metallic formula. This one is Nude Mauve, and that is a creamy matte. This one is Rebellion, which I feel looks so much darker in the pan than it does when swatched, and it's a cream to powder formula. This one is Hello, and that is a metallic, and the very last one is Amara, and that is a creamy matte. So as you can see, these are also mauve shades, but they're more on like the mauve warm tone side of things. They're not so purple. Either way, they are beautiful. All right guys, let's go ahead and start look number 1 with the new Natasha Denona Retro palette. I am so excited. I haven't even dipped into this. It's a fresh. Just got this. I'm using a Morphe and Ariel brush. This is the A11. I'm going to dip into Amara. And I'm going to use this kind of as my transition shade in a way. But I'm going to focus it on the outer corner. I very lightly dipped into it because Natasha Denona's formula is pretty pigmented, so I didn't want to get too much pigment right off the bat. And her formula is amazing for blending. Like, it blends out so nicely. And I am going to bring it on the lower lash line as well. Okay, this is what that shade is looking like. It is a beautiful color. I'm really loving how mauve this palette is. Now I'm dipping into Andy. And this one is a cream to powder formula. I'm using a Sigma E35. And I'm going to focus this on the outer crease and also the outer corner. Some people don't like her cream to powder formula. The first time I played with her cream to powder formula was with the Zendo palette, and it took me a little bit to get used to it, but now I actually really do love her cream to powder formula. I think it is super easy to work with. It blends beautifully. It's an amazing formula, and it's not drying, which is nice. I'm also going to bring this one a tiny bit on the lower lash line. Okay, here it is. I'm really loving the mauve purple tones that I am heading towards. So I think I'm going to stick to that theme and focus on the other purple shadows for look number 2. So I am going to jump into Groove right here, and I'm using a Laura Lee L18. And I'm mainly going to focus this on the outer corner just to deepen up the outer corner. Maybe bring it a tiny bit into the crease. I'm not dipping into that shade too much. This is one of the creamy matte formulas. Blending like a dream, guys. I'm also going to bring that just a tiny bit. I'm not going to go farther than this with this color. Okay, this is what the eyes are looking like, and I am loving it. Now I'm going to go into a reference number 20, and I'm going to jump into Swing, which is a metallic color. It looks like a pretty purple shade. This is going to go on my lid. I usually apply metallics with my finger, but I'm testing this refer brush out and see if natural hair makes a difference in how they lay down. And so far it's been working decently. I'm not too worried about how dark it is because I am going to go in with a shimmery, glittery shade. But that's a beautiful purple. All right, here we are. Now I'm going to go into Psychedelic, which is that middle shade. And it's one of her special glittery formulas. So pretty. And I'm going to put that in the inner lid to cover that metallic purple. Well, not cover it, but kind of enhance it and just make it look a little lighter. Looks beautiful. This shade is probably going to perform better as a topper, although I don't mind using toppers on like my bare lids. Sometimes that look is actually very beautiful, so don't knock it out just because it's a topper. So let me finish the other eye and put this shade on there as well. Put mascara, lashes, all that good stuff, and I'll be back. All right, guys, here it is, the final eye look. I did go in with that special topper shade just a tiny bit right here in the inner lower lash line. And for the inner corner and brow bone, I went in with a highlighter that I used for my face. But here it is. I also went ahead and used the Urban Decay Love Drug liner for the waterline and to tightline, and I used my little small sample of the Natasha Denona liquid liner for the wing. Both of my wings are not the same shape and they're pointing in different directions, but the lashes are covering that up, which is really nice. I need to practice more, and the reason why I decided to do a wing for this eye look, but here it is. Let me know what you guys think. I absolutely love it. I think it's a beautiful mauve purple eye look and I am really enjoying it. So let me know what you think. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on to look number 2. Okay, let's get started on this eye look, which is look number 2. I already did look number 1 and it is fabulous, as you have already seen. I fell in love with that look. I think it is a beautiful one. I think for today's look, I'm going to stick to the warmer side of the palette. So I'm first going to start with this shade right here, which is Nude Mauve, and I'm using a Jacqueline and Morphe JH30. I'm going to use this as my transition shade. And that's a beautiful color. Oh my goodness. That is the one absolute thing I love about Natasha Denona palettes, is that her mattes blend so beautifully, and even like the cream to powder formula, once you have used it, they're a little bit easier to work with. I love how beautiful they just all blend, and they're just so buttery soft. Oh, gorgeous. I'm gonna bring it down. All right, and that is what that shade looks like. I was able to build it up pretty dark. I honestly didn't think it was going to look this dark, but it's okay. All right, now I'm going to go into the shade Go Go, and I'm using a Sigma E35. I'm going to use this in the crease. This is one of her cream to powder formulas. It's a little bit more on the pinky side, but beautiful. I think I'll make it work. It's such a beautiful shade. I am gonna bring it down too, and I'll bring it all the way down. Why not? All right, that's what these two shades are looking like. Now I am going to jump into Patty. Even though it's a metallic shade, I'm going to use a brush. This is an L16 by Laura Lee Los Angeles. I'm doing a halo eye today, so I'm going to focus this on the inner corner and the outer corner. And I'm going to do the same on the lower lash line. So inner corner and outer corner. All right, this is what the eyes are looking like. Now we are going to add a little bit of depth, and I'm going to jump in to a part, which is that pretty brown. It's one of her cream to powder formulas. I'm using a Refer number 3. So it's a very small, nice and precise brush. And I'm going to add this in the outer corner. And the inner corner. Okay, and that brown worked absolutely beautiful, blended like a dream. And this Refer number 3 brush, amazing for precise application. I love that brush. Okay, now we're going to go into a metallic. I'm using the shade Hello, and I'm going to use my finger, and that's going to go right in the center. And I'm also going to bring it down below. Okay, and last but not least, we are going to dip into Psychedelic, which is that topper shade, and we're going to put it on top of Hello very slightly, like I literally barely dipped my finger into it. I definitely do love the muted mauve like brown that I have going on. That's kind of what I was going for. This is probably a more work appropriate eye look than the first one. So see, very nice and subtle, simple. All right, let me go ahead and put on the rest of my face, lashes, and all the good stuff, and I'll be back. All right, guys, and this is the final look for look number 2. I definitely feel like this one is a lot softer, something that you can probably wear to work, you know, and that is what I was going for. I definitely was leaning towards the mauve browns of the palette, and I think I definitely achieved that. So why don't you guys let me know what you think. And let me know which one is your favorite, number 1 or number 2. I will tell you later on which one is my favorite. But I'm going to zoom you guys out and let's talk, compare, and all the good stuff. All right, guys, I will go ahead and link everything that I did not mention in this video down below in case you are ever curious. Always look in the description box. Everything will be there. So the Midi Retro palette by Natasha Denona. I really love this palette. I think it is such a gorgeous palette. All the colors in here, I want to use every single color in here. I did end up using the duochrome in my inner corner, and for the brow one I just went ahead and used the highlight. But yeah, this palette is beautiful. It is gorgeous. I am actually very glad that I decided to pick it up. I was super excited when I saw it anyways. Well, correction. When I saw it in the reveal by Natasha Denona, the picture, the sneak peek that was kind of circling around looked a lot like the Love palette, right? Yeah. And this one is more on like the pinks and red tone side of things. So when I saw it, the sneak peek, yeah, I was not excited because I thought it looked like this one. And they are not the same. Totally different vibes. In case you were wondering, it's like this is the younger sister and this is the older sister. Yeah. Completely different vibes. Yes, I took advantage of the fact that it was on sale for 50% off at Sephora and purchased it, and I am super glad. Comparisons. When I saw this through the Natasha Denona reveal, it definitely reminded me of the Huda Beauty. This is what the new nude palette. The main difference is that this one is very muted and it has the glitters. So like, even though they have some similar colors, the vibe is a little different. This one, you cannot get a look that is too deep. The deepest shade, which is like this purple right here, it doesn't even show up that dark on your eyelid. At least on mine, it does not. I definitely feel like the Huda Beauty is a little more muted, but yeah. It does remind me of this one, but it is not exactly the same. Now, can you get similar looks with this palette? Yes, you can. So if you have this eyeshadow palette and don't have the money to purchase the new Natasha Denona, I don't think you need to. I think you should be able to create similar looks with this one. Another palette that it reminded me of was this little mini. It's the Baby One Lawless palette. Such a beautiful palette. I mean, it's small, but still the tones in here totally remind me of the Natasha Denona. See, it even has browns and like a kind of a red-orange tone in there. So a smaller mini version of the Natasha Denona. So if you have this, you can definitely get a similar look to the Natasha Denona. And if you don't have the money, you don't need to purchase it. Another one that people were saying to compare it to was the Modern Renaissance. But I feel like this one is more warm tone than anything. It's not really Like the vibe is completely different. Maybe because of those two purple shades in there and they're like purple, not really mauve. Maybe that's why. Okay, maybe there's like one mauve shade in there. That's like a cool tone, but yeah, I didn't see it. It's a great palette. And the other one that I wanted to compare it to is the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe collab, which is the Bling Boss. And it's only because this one has like a purple mauve vibe to it. So not exactly, but some of the tones are pretty close. So if you have this and don't have the money to purchase that, you can probably still maybe get a similar look with this eyeshadow palette. Just a couple of references in case you do have any of the ones that I just mentioned and you don't have the funds right now to go pick up the Natasha Denona. Okay, so the big question, would I recommend the Natasha Denona Retro palette? Yes, I would recommend this palette, but only if you have the money to purchase it and you absolutely want. I can't say needed because technically you really don't need an eyeshadow palette, but if you have the funds, then yes, I absolutely think you should get this eyeshadow palette. It is a beautiful palette that you can literally wear year round. I don't think there's ever a bad time to wear a mauve eye look. At least for me personally, I don't think there is. The mattes blended beautifully. The cream to powder formula is as amazing as I remember. The metallics are great, although they don't pack a punch like, say, the Pat McGrath ones. That glitter topper shade is beautiful. The duochrome in there is beautiful. Like every single shade that I used performed absolutely beautiful. It was so easy to create both of the eye looks that I did. Everything just blended like butter. The experience was just chef's kiss, honestly. And that is the thing that I really love about Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes, is that the experience is so effortless and so beautiful that it makes you fall in love with her formula. And I think that's the thing that each luxury brand has. Like they each have their own niche. I definitely feel like Natasha Denona's niche is the formula and the blendability and just how beautiful and easy it is to use most of her palettes. I know there are some duds in some of the palettes, just like there is in a lot of brands, because you know, everything can't be perfect, but the main experience is that they are so easy to use, super blendable. So I definitely feel that is why people spend the money and people go crazy when she releases new palettes, because it's the experience that they remember and how beautiful it is. And that's why we purchase it. So I definitely do feel that this is a total investment and you would get so much use out of this. Again, only purchase if you have the money. Do not go out of your way to get this eyeshadow palette. Nowadays, there is no palette that is unique. Everything has been pretty much done. But, you know, if you're a makeup collector, a Natasha Denona stan, whatever it is, you will not be disappointed if you purchase this palette. Okay, and now for my favorite eye look. My favorite eye look is going to have to be look number 1. I know, crazy, because it's like an almost all dark purple eye look, and then it has that glitter topper shade on top that kind of shifts things but still keeps it purple. Yeah, that one, it surprised me. It was beautiful. All right, guys, well, I think that pretty much concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed the swatches. I hope you enjoyed the comparisons, and I hope you enjoyed my review and my thoughts. All right, well, I would love it if you gave this video a big old thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it, and you would definitely help me out in the algorithm and hopefully bringing some new and fresh eyes to my channel. And if you haven't done so already, I would love it if you joined my small YouTube family by clicking the subscribe button. I would love to have you. I am on the wonderful journey of hopefully reaching 1,000 subscribers before the end of 2021, and you can help me out by clicking the subscribe button down below. All right, guys, I will see you on the next video.